Welcome. So my name is Pal. I think you met me and co-founders or co-founder Matthew. Um, yes. So this is session two. Since we're not, I hope if you're in an interaction, you can type on the chat. Introduce yourself and uh, yeah, so let's go. Because we're builders, yeah, and great things are not built by individuals. Yeah. So you can't build something great for yourself. That's why you need people to come alongside and to build. So people, a builder are the most valuable, but they're also the most difficult to manage and come to just learning how to work together. You can bring your idea. So I think this and the way we live work now, there is value sometimes in doing things as a group, but okay. Oh, you can't hear me, Ochi.
Yeah,
Just
yeah,
hear
I
me.
think it's better now. I think it's
Is it better?
better.
Okay.
Yeah, I was just checking. Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
I think it's better. Jacob, is it better?
Okay, just give me 1 minute. Let me let me switch my internet. Okay, I hope this is better.
I will continue talking.
I'm saying that I hope this is better. Let me just reconnect the
Yeah,
screen.
yeah, it's
Yeah,
better.
it's good now.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. So, like I was saying, when you think about the team you're building currently or the team that you want to build, I just want you to have this at the back of your mind. Think sports, right? The best players are the ones that you think about. You can think about Arsenal, Manchester, whatever team you support, rugby, basketball as well. And when you think about a team in that setting, you think about interdependence, you think about caring more about the shared goal than the individual. So assists, defense, everybody plays their role. And at the end of the day, you reach your desired outcome, versus a golf team, right? So a golf team, everybody goes and plays kind of their individual rounds, and then they just come and tally up the scores at the end. So what we want to focus on is how to be more interdependent, how to collaborate more effectively to reach our shared goals. All right. So if you're a solo founder and you're thinking, I'm smart, I know, you know, whatever has, whatever I have already has brought me to where I am now. I don't think I need other people, or I don't really work well with other people. I think the good news is that you can always improve in how you relate to other people, but I think I just want to convince you a little bit of why you need other people. So, firstly, divisions of labor. I believe that most of us here are geniuses, lol, or good at what we do, but you can't be good at everything, right? So if everybody gets a docket, if someone is pushing product, someone is making sure that tech is okay, someone is pushing for funding, we get to be a well-oiled machine and we get to execute on a higher level. Yeah. Secondly, and I think this one will speak more to you, because people are motivated a lot by investment. Investors don't want to invest in solo founders. And it's just because it carries a lot of risk. I know I've written about burnout and, you leaving the venture, but we live in a real world and people die, right? So I don't want such a risky investment. I would rather invest in a team that is working together, well-oiled machine that is executing. Cognitive diversity. If I was running my business or businesses just by myself, I have two co-founders. They don't just help me to run Papema, they help me to run other ventures that I'm starting up or continuing, right? So some of you have met Matthew. He comes from a very different background than me. And Patrick, who you're going to meet, comes from an equally different background, yeah. So that kind of diversity is what allows us to push. He challenges my assumptions. I come with ideas. He tells me no. He shows me a different perspective. And that's what makes us a great team. And lastly, scalability relates to the other two. You can't build a great thing by yourself. You need people to work on the other things so that you can work on your superpower and your business, your product can go from 10 users to 10 million users across Africa, globally. Okay. So, hoping that you are convinced that you need a team. This is what you should expect when you're kind of forming a team or in those initial stages of team development. So, we have the forming stage. This is kind of that honeymoon phase, still testing, still getting to know each other. Um, People are still polite in this stage. Uh, enjoy it while it lasts. Yeah, enjoy it while it lasts is all I'll say. And we're kind of just feeling each other out. We're really excited about what we're building, about the passion, and talking about the future. And that leads us to the storming stage. Um, this is now where, especially if you're building with men or as men, the power play and a little bit of the politics comes in. So a lot of teams fail because they don't kind of address what is at the root of that conflict or what is causing the controversy, right? So I'll talk more about that towards the end of the slideshow. Next is a norming phase. So we've tested each other's metals, we know how everybody works, strengths, weaknesses, and now we're kind of able to redistribute roles and start functioning better. Since we've already fought, now we respect each other a bit more. And yeah, then the last stage is performing. So you reach this stage when now you're a team, right? Everybody knows everybody, everybody is settled in their roles. We've fought, we've reconciled, and now we can just execute and do the work that has brought us here. Um, I would want to know if anyone is building, what stage of development are you in currently, or what life cycle is your team in? Um, I can tell you my team is, I would say, on the lower end of performing. And I say lower end because you have to give yourself a little bit of room to do better, right? So we have been through all the stages. I used to think it's purely theoretical, but it's very true, and you're gonna go through it. So It was interesting actually to discover that we were going through it as we were going through it, if that makes sense to you. It's like when you're looking in a mirror and you see yourself looking at yourself. So does anybody want to share what stage of um the life cycle you're in as your team, or if you're in a team, if you're forming a team? Anybody? Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it'd be good to know like how many guys here are building alone or are building in teams.
Yes.
Yeah.
Could you tell us? I'm seeing Jacob, Edwin, Victoria.
Okay. I can start. I don't mind starting.
Okay,
Um,
go ahead.
so so for the longest time I was a freelancer.
Mm-hmm.
I used to just, because I was making websites and apps, I'd just look for clients and then I go meet them and just get work done, and I was pretty comfortable with that.
Yeah.
And it was nice. But then the first time I worked with a team,
Mm-hmm.
uh, a diverse team, like the guys were on like my co-founders now,
Mm.
and even before we had like even a bigger team, I'd say. When I
Mm-hmm.
saw the synergy of like, the different skills on the table. So we have a lawyer on the team, we had someone from media, we had someone from like just
Mm.
different characters,
Yeah.
all working on one thing. And
Mm-hmm.
then, so when I saw like, so we're discussing just one thing, like one project. But when I see the different strengths apply to this one thing, it was so multidimensional and the synergy was so crazy. I was like, what have I been doing all these years? Like
Mm.
building by myself. And I swore from that day I will never, ever, ever try to build anything on my own. So I understand the
Yeah.
the power of teams.
You get it. Okay. Thank you, Ochi. Does anyone else want to share? Don't be shy. If you're on transit, I understand, but you know, Victoria, Sam, any takers? Okay.
No, no, no,
I
no,
can just
no,
go.
no,
Ah,
no, 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 it's not okay.
oh, it's not okay.
No, 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 no. It's not fun. I'll start throwing people here. So Joy Lisa, I
Mm.
know Joy is building something, and I know she's not building it alone. So, and she doesn't get the luxury of just chilling. So yeah. So I'll start with Joy. I know Carol is building alone. He'll tell us why, and
Mm.
then I think Miles will go. So yeah, sorry guys, but this is a session about teams. So yeah, there's no way guys are keeping quiet. Joy, you go for it.
I'm actually not building alone. I have
Oh, okay.
a team. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't
I
know.
have
Did you hear me talking about the stages of development? I was just asking kind of, do you know what stage you're in? Forming stage, initial, storming, are you guys fighting a lot? Norming stage, you reach the stage where you understand each other and you're working better, and then performing where the execution now becomes at a higher level. Do you want to answer that, Joy?
so we haven't had any storming,
Mm-hmm.
but we are like we know each other's strengths and weaknesses. So
Yes.
yeah, tumeweka
Mm-hmm.
step moja. Yeah.
Mkwashiwa mmeruka.
yetu ni more of like silent treatment, like mtu anaenda
Mm,
MIA, then the like tuna figure out. We've been able to figure out if like for me and my CTO, I know
mm-hmm.
some tasks can be overwhelming to him.
Yeah.
So like I try to break things down. Ndo
Mm.
asiende MIA, and to my lawyer, I'm more of responsive when she talks. Like I reply even if I'm really terrible at like texting and everything.
Yeah.
So we've gotten to know and like revolve around each other.
I mean, so from what I'm hearing, then you did go through the storming. You see, how many times did it take for your CTO to go quiet for you to realize, oh, hapa kuna shida, right? So I think conflict can show up in many ways. It doesn't have to be shouting at each other. It can just be before you learn the rhythms of how the other person works. Yeah. So that friction that is there just before. Okay. I don't remember who was going next. Was it Miles or um
Yeah, and Nicole has requested to go next, so we can have Nicole and then Carol and then Miles.
okay.
Hi guys. So for me, I think I can say that the storming phase is where I've mostly been for a minute with most of the people or team members I've worked with, where we don't really align on how, or rather, we've not really understood each other on how we work. And
Mm-hmm.
for the few that we actually do, and we are like, okay, I like how you work, I like how you work, let's move forward. It's kind of it's not very linear, because then you find that two of your team members, you guys, you vibe, there's harmony, and then there's another two of you, rather, where you're just at loggerheads. Like, both of you just have very different working mechanisms, very different logic systems, and it's just clashing after clashing. But then I'm also learning that in such situations, you're the one to be the bigger person, sort of, to say, the way you've just said, kuna shida hapa. So you sort of like, you zoom out and you go and you say,
Mm.
okay, kuna shida hapa, and how can we minimize it? Because fixing it is sort of like, that's an ideal situation that I don't think actually exists. So you just try to mitigate the situation and make it tolerable so that you can move to the next step. Yeah, so that's where I am.
All right. I'm gonna put a pin in what you've said, to address it later on. I have a slide that's coming, stay tuned. But thank you so much for sharing that. Um, yes.
You're welcome. Please, I'm so eager to hear what you have to say about that. So one pin very soon.
Okay. Miles or Carol. I hope I'm saying your name right.
Okay.
Yes, Carol. Yes, Carol, go.
Mm-hmm.
So okay, I actually have a project I'm building with a team. It's
Yes.
called the Greenverse, and
Sorry,
also
could
let
you
me
could you repeat that? It's called
call Greenverse.
Greenbus. Uh-huh.
Yeah. So in fact, I even noticed one of my team members is in the meeting. You can just say hi. It's
Mm.
called, yeah. So basically, what I can say on regards to what you've talked about on the
Mm.
slide, I think our team is actually, we're kind of getting to know what each participant is able to kind of contribute in the project. So I don't know what kind of phase we are actually in, but I think we're trying to figure things out, like what role actually suits a specific individual. So what actually happens, you might find like someone is like doing one thing, then maybe perhaps the other hasn't yet maybe done something significant, but we're trying to figure something out so that each and every person is able to contribute his own peace of mind in the project.
Okay. You said a member of your team is here.
Yep,
His name? Oha?
Jacob.
Oh, Jacob. Okay. Okay, cool. Jacob, do you share the same sentiment? Do you agree?
Yeah, it's true. I
Okay.
agree with Carol saying.
Okay, cool. I think Miles was supposed to go.
Yeah, maybe he has his Claude bot on the call and we don't know. Maybe it's not even there.
True, true.
Okay,
Okay.
I'm joking. Yeah.
I mean, okay. Let me just go on. You can pick on him for the next one. Okay. So, how building teams looks like today. Um, I think I sat and thought about you people being in the tech space specifically and how building teams usually looks like in that space. Um, I will focus on the first two, right? Which is finding co-founders and securing early hires. I just want to quickly mention something about securing early hires and specialists to scale, right? So I feel like co-founder dynamics, once you fight and understand each other and come to an agreement, that dynamic becomes easy. But when you're bringing in new people to the organization, you need to really think about, or to the project, you need to think about um, the people that you're bringing on. So you don't want to hire a quintessential nine to fiver who is used to rules and structure and has never worked on anything before, never questioned anything in their company before, was just, give me the work, I do the work, I go home. Because the startup kind of terrain and that landscape is so different from nine to fives. And the chaos that exists, I think if you're a builder, it's not going to work. Yeah, it's not going to work. So just think about the people that we want to attract to this, especially early on, have to be people who can adapt to that chaos. And then as an organization, you also have to meet them kind of halfway and think about, okay, it is chaotic because we're still figuring things out, but how can we make it as structured in the chaos as possible? Yeah. So how can we come up with tasks or, break it down for them in a way that they can do their work while still being in the chaos with us? Two, because I am very hopeful that people here will be funded. That is usually when people bring in specialists. Again, if you're bringing someone who is from a structured, they've done multi-million dollar companies, organizations, they've worked there, and you bring them into your chaos, right? Some of them will stay for you to pay them, but will not help you because, I only work 8 to 5 and this and that. So you need to really check for that fit early on. Yeah. Okay. What to look for in a co-founder? Um, this is for you who's building alone, or if you want to start another project. So, complementary skills. You want someone who can do what you can't do. So, if you're a tech person, you want someone who will take the project or the product to market. And you want to make sure that everything is covered in terms of the skills we need, but there's no overlap. In case there is overlap, though, I think you let the two people who have the overlap just talk about it and figure it out as many times as necessary until they're clear on who is doing what. Yeah. So let that open line of communication be there. Let them go back and forth. Shared vision and values. It's so important for you to align on why you're even building in the first place, right? So I could say for me and my co-founders, we're Pan-Africans and we really, really believe in Africans, in African youth specifically, and entrepreneurship as a way to kind of build the continent. So it's important for that common thing to exist between you, other than money, I would say, because the money doesn't always come as fast as you like. So there has to be something that is keeping you building, right? Long-term goals also, yeah. We're working on this maybe 5 years, right? 10 years. Are we aligned in where we're going long term? Risk tolerance, people wanting to bring in investors, people wanting to borrow money. Are you involved? Is somebody completely debt averse and would never borrow, even to advance the product? Talk about it. And work ethic. It can get to a point where if your work ethic is too badly mismatched, the organization is not going to do well. Yeah. So just things to think about. Trust and reliability. Can this person show up for me, for this company, for this project, even when faced with conflict, when there's pressure, when there are setbacks? That's all you're looking for. Can they work well? Are they going to show up? Can I trust them? Learning and adaptability is, it's again, the terrain is difficult. If we need a coder today, are you going to step up and do it? Okay. I'm mentioning something that I can't do. So maybe you think about something you can't do, right? Okay. I'll try to keep the chatty bits shorter. And now get to the how do you meet co-founders? So I met my co-founders in uni. So final year of uni, we had some shared classes together, but our lecturer in common approached us and told the three of us to plan for the SME conference that was happening. So 1 month, planned the conference, not the entire conference, just the side that involved bringing in students. So end to end, we did everything, we managed it. And then a few months later, we were called to do another project. This was post-uni. So that's how I met my co-founders. Ochi, do you want to tell us where you met your co-founders? Or who else? Carol, do you want to tell us where you met Jacob or the other way around?
Oh, Miles also had to
Miles
contribute.
is back.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, he
I'm back.
actually
I'm back. I'm back.
Are you building alone,
So,
Miles?
okay.
Or... Mhm.
No. Actually, like, have a team of 4 people. We formed the team back in November. So
Yeah.
the team, I think the team is diverse enough. We have like 2 technical guys and 2 marketers. So we have people who can onboard customers and people who can build on the product itself. So I think for the team right now, we are at the storming phase. Yeah, maybe we are going past it. We are going past the storming phase because ideas are coming up. We can't really decide on which ideas to initiate or which ideas to not initiate. So I think, but for now we are past the storming phase, but let's see how the norming phase will go. Yeah. So, and actually how I met like these co-founders, it's really interesting because one of the co-founders was like a customer, let me call him a customer. So he was interested in the project, before I was like working alone. So I asked him like, are you really this much interested in the project so I could like make you a co-founder or something? Yeah, I said yes and
Mhm.
proposed other people whom I
To
didn't
join.
really know, yeah, to join. So that's how I like met the team.
That's so good. Thank you. Thank you for that, Miles. You see why I tell you people to share? Because how would we have known that? You know? Somebody else, you want to tell us where you met your co-founders before I give suggestions? The floor is open.
Maybe I could say something.
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, so I met my co-founders in the most Gen Z possible way through an app. No, wait, yeah, through WhatsApp. It was. I'm sorry for the background if it's kind of loud. It was a meme group. Don't judge. And we just started talking. I think I was 19, and only recently when we were both like 24, 25 is when we realized we share some interests,
Mm,
and that we are symbiotic, so to speak. And so while I was starting off my side hustle, rather, I would go to my friend, now him, to get some insight, maybe because he was way ahead of me in terms of career and exposure. I'd go to him for more in-depth analysis, consultations, and it got to a point where we were like, "I think you and I can make some business together." And he was like, "Yeah, we really can." And we just set it off, and that's where we started. And it's been a really good collaboration because at least with him we share. Now he's the one whom we have the same ideologies and like our logic flows. So the
mm,
the relationship work-wise is very, very, it's enjoyable. Yeah.
okay. Thank you. Thank you for that. So meme groups, I mean, my examples now are sounding kind of boring, but so yeah, I mean, events is a really good place to meet people. Um, Ochi and I met last year, December, at the Latitude 59 event. And here we are, session two, right? So go to these events, talk to people about what you're building, and you never know, you might find someone who's interested in what you're building. I also have building out loud or building in public. So this one is a little bit scarier, but you can post on LinkedIn and talk about what you're building, right? I think Miles has shared a good example of someone might come, across what you're building and just buy in immediately. You don't have to work too hard, right? So professional events, marketplaces, friends, and social circles. Those are all my examples. But yeah, those are cool places to meet founders or co-founders. And thank you for sharing, everyone. Okay. So you found the one, you know. This is the person you want to build with. What's next? Test the collaboration. I think a common pitfall is, you jump in immediately. We've met today, tomorrow we're building. Relax. Not to say that if that's what you did, I mean, well. But maybe for your other thing, you can build multiple things, right? But test the collaboration is so important. Work on a small project, yeah, to test that chemistry. Can we work well under pressure? Can this person deliver? What's their commitment like? Have a lot of conversations about vision and values, right? Again, this is what will carry you when you feel like this person is the most irritating person on earth, right? So, and discuss everything, mission, ambition, exit scenarios, just, how can we make it as it's like a prenup, right? How can we make this as easy as possible if either one of us feels like the relationship is no longer serving us? Define your roles and responsibilities, very important. I think in the storming stage for us as well, this was the major issue, right? People had not committed concretely, this is what I'm doing. this is the direction I'm building towards, and this is how it's, coming together to achieve our strategy or our goals. Yeah. So sit down and clarify ownership, who owns what, and then set decision-making frameworks around that to avoid a power struggle. So if your docket is marketing, yeah, everything that is under marketing is under you. You take responsibility for it. When you succeed, we all succeed. When you fail, we all fail. So it's not like we're putting blame, but this is your docket. So anything marketing related, the decision at the end of the day is on you. If we argue, you're the one to take the day, right? Lastly, agree on equity and legal structures. This, I think, is really, really important for you guys, also for us. We have a lawyer and we have a founders agreement. So our agreement states how much equity everybody has, roles and responsibilities, when you get your equity, what are possible exit scenarios, it's down to the kind of investors we want, right? So the founders agreement for you is just protection and just, I think, insist on the things that you need to feel secure so that you can build, right? It's not that I feel you'll screw me over. It's just in case, right? I put vesting schedules there and cliffs. I'm hoping you're familiar, but in short, a vesting schedule is just if today me and Nicole start a business, I have 50%, she has 50%. We don't get it the 50% today. Yeah. It's spread out across a pre-agreed period, usually 4 years. So after the first year of us building, we each get 12.5%, and so on and so forth until you get your full 50%. It just keeps you secure that people won't leave early. And if they do, yeah, you'll be able to have that reserve of their shares to attract another co-founder or to sell as equity, if you so please. All right. Again, so recruiting and retaining the right people. So I think that we finished the co-founder kind of debate. Now this is moving to securing your early hires, right? Who do you want on your team and how do you choose them? Like I had said previously, you don't want a 9 to 5er, but what do you want, right? So mission alignment is key. You're gonna find people who will just buy into your vision. I'm so glad Miles gave that example so that I don't sound like I'm making stuff up, right? Your vision will pull people, right? So choose people who are more attracted to that and maybe moderately skilled, not no skills at all. That one is a no. Yeah. So you would rather choose a candidate who is really bought into the vision, but moderately skilled, rather than one who is really skilled, but not bought into the vision. Yeah. Because the culture fit won't be there and the dynamics will be wrong, right? So also people willing to work with ambiguity. Set structures for how you hire, right? So even a basic JD, a basic job description. We're bringing in someone, you can't just say, okay, the workload is too much, let's bring someone, and then you go and hire. Think about when we're bringing someone, what do we want them to do? Who will they report to? Is another important one. Yeah. So you might need to move it around a bit. Maybe the highest skilled tech person, who's your CTO, is not really good with people, but you have another techie who may be able to work better with your new hire. So just move things around to make it easier. And then incorporate assessments that will test for fit. So I'm not a techie, but maybe there's a certain tech stack, I don't know, that you're looking for. So just create something to test for skill, and then also pair them up let them talk to people on your team, even if it's just on a Zoom call, to see, do they match the culture of this team? will they interact well with this team? Will they fit well? It's a really important thing. Lastly, competitive and fair compensation. So at this stage, I understand that you may not be able to remunerate people with money necessarily. You know, maybe if we have a good month, we can pay out a little bit. So I think the main rule is just if I'm eating as a CEO, we all eat, right? Other than that, look for other ways. Maybe people get 5% or, 2.5, 2.5 equity, if that's what you want to do. Maybe you pay their fare when they're coming to meet you. Just small things like that that signal to them that you appreciate them and that you see that they're adding value. Yes. So now that I have talked a lot, I would like us to do a small exercise. Um, yeah, just give me a second as you digest the words that I have. Okay. So this is what I want us to do. If you can get a sheet of paper, that would be really good. And there are a list. These are 25 questions. Don't think about it too much. But the scale is not like me to like me. So 1 is not like me, 7 is most like me. If you can just write down the numbers 1 to 25 and tally up your score, right? And then I will let you know why we're doing it, right? So maybe take like 3, 4 minutes and then we can talk about it.
For those who are joining the call on the phone, I'm thinking just zoom in and then take a screenshot of
Oh,
both columns and
is it
then
not, it's not clear?
no, it's fine. Uh,
Okay.
okay, yeah, definitely can be better, but I'm just saying
Oh,
I can just zoom in and then take a screenshot, and then you can just use the pen tool to like just write on top of your screen.
let me
I
see.
don't, I don't know why I can't zoom in anymore. I just zoomed on it before. Okay,
Is
yeah,
this
I'm
better?
good now. Yeah, now I'm good.
Yeah. All right,
Yeah,
cool.
I'll just take a screenshot and then, yeah.
Is that good?
Uh,
Thank you for that.
So what are we doing? We're doing what again?
Okay, so I step forward and take charge in leaderless situations. Does that sound most like you or not like you? So the 1 and 2 is not like me. 3, 4, 5 somewhat like me. 6, 7 like me. Yeah. So just rating yourself.
Okay.
Yeah. Mhm. Oh, are we done? That was too short time. I don't know.
Almost.
Okay. Take your time. Okay. Now are we done? We good? Yes. Joy, are you good?
Yeah, I'm good.
You're good? Okay. So, um, okay. We're just gonna add the map. It's the last part of it, I promise. So I think I'll just ask you to add the scores for agreeableness. So take the one you got in the second question, question 7, 12, 17, 22, and then add it all together. Just the, yeah, just for the agreeableness part only. Yeah. Okay. I assume that we're done doing that now. Um, are we done? Thumbs up, thumbs down. Okay, Joy. Anyone else? Are you guys done? Are you guys still here? Ah,
Yeah.
my
So I
goodness.
had a challenge. My whole screenshot
Mm,
idea thing didn't work so well.
it
So
didn't work.
but
Okay.
I just went through the questions and but I didn't get to mark them. That's the only issue.
Okay. Um, maybe I can just send this to you guys later. Right. Maybe that would be
Yeah.
better. Okay. So, um, the whole point of that, yeah. I think, personality tests, people talk about them all the time. People, do we do them? Are they useful? Are they not? I think at times it's just a predictor of behavior or your natural tendency. So the reason I had you do just the agreeableness side is because that's what's relevant to what we're doing. So the closer you score to 35, yeah, the higher you are in agreeableness, which is cooperation and empathy. And that is the indicator of how you work in a team or who is most likely to be good as a team player naturally. I keep emphasizing the naturally because I don't want you to think because you're not good now, you can never be good. Yeah. So people who are high in agreeableness are team players. They cooperate and they show empathy to other people on the team. Yeah. So in my team, I am the highest in agreeableness. Not that I'm that high, but I'm the highest. Yeah. So you also have to look at it in the context of a team. You could be at 15 and your co-founders are at, 5 and 10. So in that situation, you are the highest. I'm not saying that's exactly the case for me, but I'm the person who my co-founder will call me and they have an idea and I'm like, yes, let's do it immediately. Let's do it. Yeah. Okay, let's figure it out. Um, But if I want to convince, I will say Matthew of something, I need to come and tell him, I want us to do this because of this, and that. So people who are lower on agreeableness usually need more convincing, and theirs is more data driven, more stats, more tell me about the money. So it's also important to do some of these things, pick the one that works the best for you. There's one called, there's a book that has been written called Surrounded by Idiots, right? Basically just talking about how people differ in the way they communicate. So if you look that up and look at that structure, you can use it to test your teammates and see if I want to talk to Ochi, if I want to talk to Nicole, Ochi likes facts. So I come to him on a call, I have my list written, I speak to him about this is the issue, this, that. I'm straight to the point. But if he wants to talk to me, he knows that I like a little bit of fluff. I like, he comes and asks me about my weekend first. Yeah, so just talking to people um, with their personality in mind so that you can reach that consensus. Yeah. So, Joy, do you want to tell us what your score was? Since I don't know if you're the only one who did it successfully.
Mine's a 10.
Yours is a 10. So now if you go to your CTO and your lawyer kind of, it would be interesting to see how they rank as well, given the dynamic you explained. And then all of you can kind of try and meet in the middle and say, okay, I understand that this is how you work, but can you meet me halfway? Yeah. Okay. Conflict conflict resolution tips. Sorry, that's a little bit of Kikuyu just slipped out. I had talked about decision-making frameworks. So personally, I'm not in favor of majority vote. I feel like, I'm in favor of function-based authority. So whoever is in charge of the function of the docket um, is the one who expertise carries the day, in short. So that point goes with ego versus roles. Whoever is the expert on the matter is allowed, or if there are two experts, they're allowed to debate and kind of come up with a final say. Not that your opinion shouldn't be heard, it's just that they're the ones who will carry the day. Communicate frequently and leave room for disagreements to be aired. Yeah, that's a really important one. You don't want to bottle up things to the point where somebody's leaving over something that could have easily been resolved. Revisit your mission and values. I talked about this. This is what will keep you going when you feel like you don't want to see your co-founder today or this week, right? When you think about the bigger picture of what you're doing, and I think, again, this is why it's important to have something bigger than you. Build for something bigger than you. Don't just build for money. You might be building for money now, but once you get the money, try to build for something bigger than yourself. It brings a lot more fulfillment. Lastly, neutral third parties. Yeah. So find a mentor. It could even be inside the club, someone you look up to. Having been there a few times, I think I met someone called Jordan, Ochi, Matu. I'm not remembering other names, but people who have built things before, yeah, could help you to resolve these disputes that you have. Also, you would need to ask them. You don't just bring them your problems. Ask them to mediate for you. Okay. Um, Second last thing, culture. You don't want to build in a vacuum. Yeah. You want to build setting a standard or a precedent for how we are building. So, what values do we have in this team? Maybe a certain level of work ethic or effort is needed, right? So you want to set that early on. And these values will also guide your conflict resolution. You see, that word is a bit difficult for me. So if we set a value that we're all one thing, if you act contrary to that, we're able to, pull you aside and ask you, hey, you know, this is what we've said, but you're not really doing that. So what's happening? Again, not confrontationally, just asking questions. Model the behavior from the top. If you're going to ask something of someone who is in your team, make sure that you have that as well as the founder. Your actions will set the tone for everything, and everything you do as a founder is contagious. I think also culture is important because you want to keep that momentum that you have when you're building. Because if you lose momentum, it's so hard to get back, right? So if you can keep the team having that same level of momentum and building, with a great culture backing you, then I think you can go far. Clear operating norms, rituals are so important. I know stand-ups are a big thing in the tech world, right? Retrospectives. After this workshop is done, after we do the 4 weeks, we're going to sit down and talk about it. What worked, what didn't work, what was most useful. If we send you a feedback form, please fill it. Thank you. Also, reinforce the culture as it grows and adapt to it. Again, don't just think of now, think of the future. Even a year ago, we at Papema, we didn't have any clauses on sexual harassment or anything like that, right? I think just in the team that we worked, the three of us as co-founders, before bringing in external people, I think it hadn't really crossed our minds, but things will happen now and again. It's up to you as a founder to be keen on these things, right? And when something happens, take action immediately and set it as a policy. So every interaction you have with a client, with new hires, let that refine your culture as an organization. Also, the way the people around you respond when you go through something, people who are willing to lose money because of a situation that made you uncomfortable, those are people you're going to build with for life. You might not even just build one thing. You might build this today and build something tomorrow. And lastly, I want to talk about the 5 dysfunctions of a team and the remedies, right? So if you take away nothing else from what we've talked about in this hour and some change, I think this is what I want you to really, really, really just lend me your ear. Yeah. So that we can finish strong. Okay. When you're building a team, and, I want you to think back to what I said about groups versus teams, sports metaphor, right? A well-oiled machine. You want to build, Chicago Bulls, 6 rings. Yeah, that kind of team. It's layered, and trust is always at the base of the pyramid, right? So trust, conflict, commitment, accountability, and results. Yeah. On one side, we have high-performing teams and dysfunctional teams. So on the layer of trust, I want you to think about it not as, sorry, just a minute. When you're building trust in your team, I want you to think about it not as predictive trust, not, I've known Ochi since 2012, I know how he behaves, that's important and it has its place. But when it comes to trust, I want you to think about vulnerability-based trust. I'm not saying you overshare. I'm just saying, is it a space where I can come and say, I made a mistake, I need help? Can I say, I don't know how to do this? Can I say, actually, I think you're better at this than me? Yeah, you do it. That's the kind of trust we want to build here so that everything is laid out on the table. And this is a space where we're all honest insofar as what we're building is concerned. You don't necessarily have to get into, other things. But is there that space where I can leave my ego at the door and come and think about what we're building? not about myself. Once you have that layer of trust, then you're able to do conflict well or have what we call healthy conflict. So conflict is often seen as negative, but it's actually really necessary in a team. Yeah. That's why, you know, I wouldn't want to say I was shocked, but if you think you haven't been through the storming stage, it's coming or it happened, you just didn't realize it. Conflict is really necessary for you guys to grow, right? So I don't think we should go in this direction. You family think we should. Everybody's ideas need to be heard, and we need to approach it in the way where we're thinking about what is best for what we're building. Again, what we're building is always higher than us as individuals, and is always what we're working towards as a team. So everybody is allowed, is open to come and share that. And that's why trust is important. Because without trust, then conflict is just manipulations, power games, ego, right? So once we have those two in place, we trust each other, we're able to fight well and fight fair, then we get commitment. So the person who coined this pyramid says that conflict begets commitment. Yeah. If we come and we discuss an issue, and I was totally opposed to it, but at the end of the day, you had my side, you said your side, she said her side, and we were able to come to a conclusion, yeah, and settle on a decision. People are more likely to commit to a strategy, a route, whatever it is, the direction we're going to, if their ideas were heard and considered. Yeah. So that's why the conflict is necessary. My opinion was heard. It was not the best for the team. So we went with Jack's opinion, right? And if that doesn't happen, then I just say that Jack forced his opinion on me. Therefore, I'm not really committed to whether Jack's thing wins, fails, loses, right? Because that's his thing, it's not my thing. Yeah, that's why it's really important. Again, the conflict. Yeah, so that's why it's a pyramid. Trust allows us to fight fair. The conflict begets commitment, and then commitment allows me to hold you accountable. You committed to this. Everybody talked about it. We settled on what's best for the team. This is the direction. So if you're not doing what you said you would do on paper, I can call you aside again in love. We're building together, right? And ask you, okay, Nicole, this is not happening. We committed to this. This is the direction we're going in. Where else is the unicorn going to come from if you don't do what you're supposed to do, right? So I can call you aside. I can ask you what's going on. And with love, I can ask you, is it that you need help? Are you stuck? Yeah. So you're seeing how they all build, together. And then lastly, we get results. If there's trust, we've fought fair, we've committed, we're all accountable, then we're going to achieve our results, right? So the dysfunctions are lack of trust, fear of conflict, lack of commitment, avoidance of accountability, and lack of results. But we've talked about how building and stacking each of these together helps us to overcome those dysfunctions of a team. Yes. And I think I'm done. Yeah, thank you guys for coming. I will open the floor for any discussions that we want to have. And I'm also going to leave it on the action slide. This is just for you to think about. If you're not in a team yet, if you're building alone, maybe think about, what do I want to do to attract people to my vision? Do I want to post about it? Do I want to go to events? So just think about everything we've talked about and what you would like to do for your team individually. And any questions, comments, thoughts are welcome. Yes.
So as they're doing that, just a reminder that these sessions happen every 2 weeks. So the next session will be next week, part one, right?
Yes, yes, it will be.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one will be done by my co-founder Patrick, and he will be talking about go-to-market. Yes, so you don't want to miss. Yes. Any thoughts? Anything you feel you've walked away with, something you want to say, something of value gained? Nothing?
I think teams are very important. Team dynamics are important. What you mentioned about identifying potential partners, co-founders, people you work with is very important. And for me, I have a few things I look out for. So, like, if I say maybe if I engage someone new,
Yeah.
and then let's say we agree on something like, oh, let's meet tomorrow at 2 p.m. I'm send me this. Like if you don't send me that thing, like I really okay. So if you basically don't commit or don't follow through on your own word or on something that we agree on, for me that's like a big sign. Of course, I'm human. I understand there could be a reason behind it. So I would give you that benefit of doubt. Maybe you'd cancel it. So ideally, if you can't deliver on something, maybe you let me know in advance, right?
Yeah.
But for me, like I really, really value people who follow through on what they say.
Yeah.
And for me, that is like I think I'm probably like top three things that I look out for is that integrity or dependability, because we can only get as much done as we actually agree on,
Yeah.
right? So people who actually follow through on what they say it's like it's gold. It's golden. And yeah, just with integrity. I think integrity for me is
Yeah.
is huge. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you for that, Ochi. Does anyone else want to say something? I'm a solo founder, so this talk has been an eye-opener for me. Thank you so much, Emmanuel, for that. Yeah, I think about what you're building. This is really good for you because you're not yet in it. So as you go into it, as you look for people that you want to build with, think of the ideas you want to build. Yeah, it's gonna be great. Yeah. And then also when you're in the middle of it, right? When you find yourself in a challenge, you'll think back to this and you'll be like, oh, yeah. Okay. Thank you guys for coming. I appreciate your time. I do hope that you gleaned value from this. I enjoyed doing this. Thank you to everybody who responded to me. Yes, this is not easy to do when people are quiet. But I thank you so much and have a lovely evening. Session 3 coming soon. Go to market. Patrick is also really working with an incubator. So he talks to a lot of people who are pitching. I will try to get him to come to the lab physically. If not, we'll do an online session and then we can come physically another day. All right. Have a good night. Thank you. Bye. Oh, you want the slides? Okay. I'll send them to Ochi and then he can send them through. Cool. Also the personality screenshot. Yeah. All right. Bye bye. Have a good night.
Edwin, I think you can DM me, right? On WhatsApp.
Okay. Sawa sawa. Bye-bye. Good night.
Bye. Bye-bye. Yeah, it'll just DM me and then I'll make sure you have them. Good night. Bye-bye.
Okay.